Hello, hello. Doing my show. Hello, hello, everybody. It is your boy, Reverend Phoenix Coffin Williams, coming to you for another little episode of Fridays with Phoenix. Today, I am embarking on a little journey downstate because the Northeast region of the Corellian tradition is celebrating our regional lustration of the living this weekend. So a bunch of us are heading down to another temple in the Northeast region. Um, by It's the Temple of Lady Autumn Stoneflower. Um, and I remember the name of the temple, but I'm not confident that I remember the name of the temple, so I'm not gonna say it. But I really think it's Circle's End said it. I think that's it. If I'm Oh, I hope I'm not wrong. But it is Lady Autumn who's hosting this year's regional illustration. I'm so grateful to her for doing that. Um, I want to say this is 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the eighth year. Good for us. This is the eighth year that the Northeast region of the Corellian tradition has been able to have a regional illustration in which multiple temples get together. Um, this particular time around, we do have Circle's End, if that's the name. And then, of course, Temple of Holistic Knowledge is going to be there, and Dancers of Shakti is going to show up and show out too. So we do have three temples um, from the region coming, and I'm so excited about that. I am doing something a little bit different today. I'm not going to do the comedic celebration because we are on the last couple of episodes of that track, and I have something special planned for those. So I want to make sure that there is adequate space and atmosphere to pull that off the way that I want to show it to y'all. So today, instead of that, what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be reviewing a book that I have read. Um, it is a great book. It is a great book. This is what it looks like: Myths, Gods, and Rituals of Aztec Mythology Before the First Sun by Matthew Torres. Before the First Sun. So if you are someone who is a mythology lover, if you are someone who likes to get into these older stories of gods and heroes and adventure, if mythology at all stirs a part of you and you find some kind of validation there, then chances are you have looked into a lot of different mythology. Of course, like we have a lot of access to Greco-Roman stuff. Of course, we have a lot of access to Egyptian things. Of course, we got a lot of access to Arthurian and European kind of lore and mythology. Um, of course, we have access to a lot of Chinese and Asian mythology. Um, but one of the things that has been, at least from like my research and like my looking around, a lot of the quote unquote, so-called Mesoamerican mythologies, uh, a little bit more sparse than the other ones. I will not say that is not available. I'll just say that is more sparse to find mythology surrounding the Mexica people. Um, I've read about the fifth sun. I read about, how different people were created and stuff like that. But the ubiquity that other cultures, mythologies are, is not the same. And to some degree, Matthew does talk about that in this book. One of the other things that is super phenomenal, that I really, really love, is that Matthew is a phenomenal content creator on the TikToks. And I do follow him um, on there. And one of the things that I like is that as I was reading this book, I was reading it in, like, I heard his voice because I've looked at and viewed and shared so much of his content, because, like, being very excited. Not only in his content does he give us the pronunciation of many of the names, um, Matthew also gives us the function, the social role that they play. And in this particular work in general, he does a lot of work to help us conceptualize through storytelling how some of these things would have worked, like in the Mexica communities in their kingdoms. Um, There is one of the reasons why I'm not showing you any of the pages or like the table of contents is, like, when I tell you I read books, like, I really read books, and there is absolutely requests in here. Um, Uploading or distributing photos, scans, or any content from this book without prior permission is theft of these authors' intellectual property. Please honor the author's work as you would your own. Thank you in advance for respecting our author's rights. So it's pretty clear that if you want to try it, you got to buy it. So without reproducing or uploading any scans or photos, um, let me just tell you about this table of contents. First of all, I gobbled this up in a day. Like, I read this from cover to cover, 24 hours. Really didn't want to put this book down. Of course, there's an introduction where Matthew does talk about like what he does with this work, and why this work is more unique than some of the other kinds of mythology books that you would find. Hey, Reverend Mad Goose, hail to you. Thank you for popping in. Um, but he talks about the creative liberties that he takes with the work. He talks about the imagining. He talks about the style of storytelling that is going into this, and really sets us up, like, with realistic expectations about what this work is going to be. After the introduction, we go right into the pantheon of divinities and talks about the role of duality in the pantheon. In the introduction, there is the story of order and how order came to be, and a discussion about chaos as a natural consequence of order. And Matthew does a great job at taking away the judgment that a lot of us place on chaotic things, and really just makes it a matter of fact. If order exists, then on balance, the universe also has a chaotic component that is as equally as powerful and effective as the order that's present. And from the discussion of order and chaos, we get the duality of the divinities. And then from there, we talk about the ways that the various divinities fought against the chaos as a way of implementing order and moving forward with creation. And then from that place, we go in and we start talking about the flower wars and how the first god king got elevated to that position. Again, in this book, we get the pronunciations, we get the role that these divinities played in cosmic order. We get their functions, their behaviors, their attitudes. Um, Matthew imagines dialect, imagines principles that they stand on and what they will fight for, what they will die for. Um, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Purchase this book, read it, and talk about it. Matthew promised a series. There's supposed to be more of these, and if anybody could get this message to Matthew. Please and thank you. I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. That's what I wanted to say about that. I'm also very grateful to Lady Alyssa, who got that for me as a gift. I munched it down, ate all of it, love it. The style in here, again, it's a storytelling method here. And for me, the storytelling component really helps me retain the factual stuff that is also important to me. The storytelling component of the people building their floating city, the largest floating city the world had known at the time. The way that Matthew put that into prose and use style and simile and all of the all of these literary elements to it did a great job at helping me not only understand the historical context that Matthew was conveying, but it helped me visualize it in my mind's eye too. Which that's something that's important for me. When I'm reading something, I do want to be able to see it in here. And as a magical practitioner, as someone who really travels the astral plane, this might not have been Matthew's goal. He might not have done this on purpose, but the work that he did to help me visualize these places means that I could try to go and find them in different time zones when I'm traveling in the astral and see what it looked like for myself astrally. I could use my imagination for that in the same way that Matthew used their imagination for this. That's really all I got for today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Send us some prayers, send us your intentions, because we're going to be invoking the ancestors this weekend for the benefit of our tradition, just like we did it in earlier for the lustration of the ancestors. We're going to do it now, lustration of the living. That's coming up this weekend. So go ahead and lend us your hearts and your minds and pay attention to any taps or calls that you get from the spirit realm as a result of your connection to the tradition and the work that we're doing. And until next time, love you lots and bless.